Hello everyone, Curious Corduroy here, and if you're new, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. But today we're going to be checking out the Sony State of Play that is taking place the week of Tokyo Game Show. We don't know what's going to be here. I'm holding out hope for things like God of War, maybe some Resident Evil stuff, or the Wolverine, but whatever happens, hopefully it's a lot of fun. Alright, so this is a state of play that we've been expecting. Usually every September, Sony likes to hold one. The week of Tokyo Game Show, they tend to focus on Japanese games and developers, but other stuff can show up too. And based on the PlayStation blog, they've already told us that the new Housemarque game, Saros, I believe is how you pronounce it, is going to take up at least 5 minutes of this presentation. So that's something we can check mark off the list. Like I mentioned in the intro, there could be some God of War here, some Wolverine, Resident Evil. As a Final Fantasy VII fan, we're always coping out, hoping that Remake Part 3 will get a teaser of some sort at one of these big events. With that being said, before we jump into the state of play, there was a brand new trailer released for Onimusha Way of the Sword, which I would really love to check out, and then we'll get into the state of play. Capcom presents...
Am I dead?
Oh yes.
So, yeah.
This
Shit.
gauntlet is for you. You pop this
Oh
on,
no.
you get the power of the Oni, and you'll be back topside.
Oh wow,
The path of the sword. On my strength alone. I don't need some monster's power.
He's got a gauntlet.
The power of the Oni is all that's sustaining your life. That's an Oni gauntlet.
Gun me!
This thing's made me so damn strong.
Sashi, I cannot apologize enough for dragging you down this path against your will.
If I take this gauntlet off, I'll be a bloody mess on the floor anyway. This isn't what you promised.
The music is really good.
My troop was attacked, and one of our members is missing. Save this world.
Fighting Genma wasn't the path I planned, but who knows? Maybe it's
This is looking insane.
Well said!
What in the... Get a hold of yourself! Are you a man or a beast? Getting strong because of some gauntlet. That's not strength.
I'm gonna eat all the souls you got in there.
Turns out, Miyamoto Musashi was just a brute with a sword after all.
Being tough isn't enough. A warrior meditates on what strength really means. Enjoying your new toys, I see.
Damn. Oh shit.
Guardian!
Hey, Musashi.
Gonryu is going through it, my dude. If you don't have the Onimusha games, you're missing out. These games are awesome. So very quickly, Musashi just straight up dies at the beginning of the game. We do know that with his journey, he's a very proud warrior, a very proud swordsman, and he is able to get by just based on that. He doesn't want to rely on anything or anyone else. But he just straight up gets murdered at the beginning of this game. So he goes to this town, I assume, to get stronger, but eventually the Genma show up and overwhelm him and just take his ass out. And the gauntlet is the only thing that's saving him. So it kind of makes me wonder, unless there's some shenanigans that happen in the story, are we going to have a sad ending? Is Musashi not going to make it out of this? So that's pretty brutal. But I do like the character dynamic of him being like, you know, I don't even want this thing. I only have it because it's keeping me alive. And he's very much like, I'm a pure swordsman. That's my thing. This guy, I cannot remember his name, but I did peek at the Onimusha website. And he's apparently a really skilled warrior that the gauntlet, the Oni lady in the gauntlet, tells Musashi to seek out. Because he straight up just takes out Genma, no problem. And he also has a gauntlet. They're handing these things out like they're candy, so I'm kind of curious, what's this dude's story? How did he get a gauntlet? Why are there so many gauntlets? Because that's Miyamoto Musashi, Gonryu, and now this guy whose name I'm forgetting. But I really want to know what his backstory is. this girl right here, the website said she was a famous ballet dancer, but there are some certain things keeping her from pursuing that, and she ends up reuniting with this other guy, and they fight, you know, Genma together. So, interesting trailer. It kind of gave me like Monster Hunter vibes for some reason. Maybe it was the music, but to have a little bit more backstory on what Musashi's doing, why he has the gauntlet, he, you know, just gets taken out is pretty brutal. The combat stuff though, my god, dude, the parries, the Isin attacks, the combat looks like it's going to be really, really satisfying. I'm very curious as well about Ganryu. Is he going to be more of a multi-layered villain? Is he just simply someone who gets the gauntlet and lets it transform him? Is there something more going on with this character? Because he's clearly, by the end of the trailer, letting it transform him fully. His chest is all, you know, messed up. But that's a pretty brutal revelation that Musashi is basically only being kept alive because of the gauntlet. And here, the whole line of, you know, relying on that, that's not pure strength. And then there's a section coming up right here. Turns out Miyamoto Musashi was just a brute with a sword after all. I don't know who this woman is. That's not the woman with we saw back here, is it? Because this lady's got a long ponytail. What's going on with this girl? That might be the same girl. I think that is the same girl, so maybe she betrays Musashi. Maybe she's not who she says she is. But turns out Miyamoto Musashi was just a brute with a sword after all. So clearly we lose this battle, whatever it is. And I think it's going to be a situation where, you know, like the previous Onimusha games, the lead character is going to have to embrace the gauntlet, embrace the Oni and the power that it's going to give him. And that is what's going to make Musashi like a feared warrior that can take out the Genma, complete whatever mission is there. And it's going to hopefully lead to a super heroic moment like we had in Onimusha 1 and 2, where Samanosuke and Jubei fully embrace that power of the gauntlet. They transform and there's that heroic music playing in the background. I think Musashi is going to get one of those moments as well. Very curious though what's going on with Ganryu here. He is going through it, my dude. He's out of it. So he's clearly like drunk on Oni power, which is nuts. I like the trailer for the most part. It is a little different. It's a little bit jarring from the previous trailers because those focused, I think, a little bit more on combat and focusing on the demons themselves. This one is more about the humans, which might be a turnoff for some people, but this is very interesting. Yeah, and to have a character as well like Musashi who seems like he's going to be very layered, I appreciate that. So it'll be interesting to see how his journey plays out. Other than that, I dig the trailer. Again, it gave me Monster Hunter vibes. This dude looks super cool. I really want to know what his story is. This chick, a little sus. She's a bit sus. She's not who she says she is. What if she's like... So Musashi's gauntlet has an Oni lady in it. What if she's Ganryu's Oni lady? So she's playing everybody. I don't know. Sick trailer. I cannot wait. I'm just hoping for a release date soon. Also, just a heads up, the way I edit these videos, they tend to be like a highlight reel. So if there's something within the state of play that I'm just not that interested in or I'm not vibing with it, it won't make the final cut. So if there's something omitted here, that's why. All right, I'm excited. My expectations, I like to think, are in check. There hasn't really been too much hype around, you know, this state of play, which is probably a good thing. Always keep your expectations in check, but I'm just more curious about, you know, what's going to be here. So I'm excited. Hello everyone, Future Corduroy here, and unfortunately I had to mute the stream audio here because the Halloween music triggers a copyright claim, so unfortunately this part is going to be silent other than my dumb self talking over it. So just wanted to give you a heads up. Oh, Halloween's here. Oh snap. I've been keeping an eye on this game, but I haven't said much because I have a love-hate relationship with the people involved. But I love Halloween, you know? Oh, sick. Am I going to get copyright claimed because of the music? Yeah. It's way more gameplay. Oh. Oh shit, that was actually really cool. Yeah. Like I said, I've been keeping up with all the details, but I haven't covered it on the channel. Okay. You do this, you do the sit-up. That's cool. I just hope you can't bully Michael, because you could bully Jason in Friday the 13th, and it got bad. That was cool, though. I'll talk more about it in the breakdown portion of the video. But man, I love the Halloween movies. I'm a big fan of them. I have a Michael Myers shirt somewhere behind me. It's just such a crazy hardcore title for a game that looks like this. You would expect the 7 deadly sins to be like dark and gritty, and it's just like anime. Like very bright, colorful, hopeful anime.
Capture creatures. Go fishing.
Uh-oh. Nintendo's gonna come after them. You can't capture creatures. Are you kidding me? That's a Pokemon thing. Capture creatures and summon them.
Step beyond.
Dynasty Warriors. Which one is this? Are they just straight up remaking 2? I played these games so much as a kid. My friend would come over and he'd spend the night, and we would just spend hours playing these Dynasty Warrior games. Oh, it's 3. Complete Edition Remastered. Cool. I'm down for that. What was that?
Back in June, we debuted Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, right here on State of Play.
Today, we're joined by the game's
Cool.
director.
This game is doing very well, by the way.
Guests who are joining us just as Tokyo Game Show kicks off in Japan.
Oh, they're special guests. There's my hero-san. Yeah, the game is doing very well. It's like 9s across the boards. A few 10s.
多くの方がこのタイトルをお気に入りの一本として挙げてくださっており、オリジナルスタッフの一人として大変嬉しく思っています。今回イバリスクロニクルズという新しい形で再び皆様にお届けできることに我々もワクワクしています。フルボイスや難易度調整などファンの方はもちろん、これまで遊んだことがないプレイヤーの方にも
I have my copy pre-ordered.
様々な工夫を行いました。
Although Best Buy is a little wishy-washy on release date delivery.
どなたでも楽しんでいただける内容となっておりますので、ぜひ遊んでみてください。それでは発売をお楽しみに。
This period of gaming is so packed. Oh, is this that one game?
Those who wield power to prey on the weak.
This is that one game.
Beasts who think.
Oh shit! It's a speaker. In all seriousness, I am looking to upgrade my PC speakers in case they ever go out. It depends on how much these are. These are probably going to be very expensive. Hello, Aloy. Is that Taylor Swift?
You remember me?
Oh shit. Are they remastering the remaster? This game was so depressing. Holy crap. This is a one and done for me. I played it once. I couldn't go through it again. It's so depressing.
Our update to the PlayStation Plus Classics catalog is extra exciting for fans of fighting games and the number 3. Tekken 3.
Oh, dude, Tekken 3. Soul Calibur 3. Oh, that's cool. Oh, Tomb Raider Anniversary. Okay, no, that's cool. Tekken 3 in particular. Oh my gosh. Having an easy to access version of Tekken 3.
Special message from the creator.
Controller. God of War controller. 20th anniversary. Boy. I wish my voice was as deep as Kratos. PlayStation Studios. How much time is left? Not much. This might be the last game.
Longer than I can remember.
Wolverine. Oh, sweet. I was like, I'm trying to place that voice.
I'd like to say I'm not a violent man.
Dude, the suit
has a way of finding me.
This is gonna be violent.
But I'd be lying. Doesn't matter where I go.
Dude. It's like Spider-Man and Arkham Combat had a baby. You get the Berserker Barrage. Oh, the traversal system. Oh, traversal looks like it could be fun. Is that Omega Red?
Death's always waiting. Just not for me.
I wonder how they're gonna handle health in this game. Dude. You get a motorcycle section? My god. Mystique? Oh, they are not holding back.
I'm Wolverine.
Okay, I have chills. Snake Stick Bob Sentinels. Fall of next year. Okay. That was pretty sick. That was not it. There's something else.
The question that comes up a lot to us at Insomniac Games is, are you going to make a Wolverine game that is as
it looks so brutal,
as visceral as the character in the comics?
Right in the face, in the magma, through the chin.
Working with Wolverine is interesting because part of the route to who he is that he's an unreliable narrator. He has gaps in his memory. So Wolverine
much
doesn't
like Cloud
really
Strife.
remember a lot of his life, and that's got to be an extremely frustrating aspect.
He's this ball of rage and fury, but then he could turn on a dime and he could be very, very kind and tender in the next moment.
When we're casting for someone like Logan,
Yeah,
what
who's
we're
playing
looking
him?
for in character traits are someone who can convey a lot with very little being spoken.
When you have that first moment that we show in gameplay, there's so much emotion that you can feel.
There's like a
behind
little
his
bit of
eyes.
Hugh
He looks
Jackman in the
relentless,
face.
He looks gritty, he looks angry, but also he looks maybe a little sad.
That level of acting and being able to just deliver that performance with believability across both spectrums was something Insomniac, ourselves, we all agreed he's the one. We don't need to see anybody else.
Hey, I'm Liam McIntyre, and I play James Logan Howlett in Marvel's Wolverine.
I've heard the name.
That's not bad. That one sort of works. Fans out there know what Wolverine is, who he is. My job is to try and find the essence of who Wolverine is, especially as it applies to our story. People hurt him, people take from him, people betray him. He still fights for people who can't fight for themselves. It's one of the greatest honors of my life, one of the biggest responsibilities I've ever had, and one of the coolest things I've ever got to do.
The visuals look really good.
The entire game is built around staying true to the Wolverine experience.
And then how do we want to put our Insomniac stamp on that? How do we want to put our own spin and creativity? but
God,
still
lost
give
an
something
arm.
New and fresh that the fans are going to be excited about.
It's the full package. It is a level of detail that we've never been able to do before.
You could see it in the trailer. You can see pores. You can see blood in between the little lines.
Yeah,
of his
so
teeth.
they're just straight up using
love
Liam's
the
face.
attention to detail.
It's exciting that we're going to be able to bring that kind of fidelity to players.
Dude.
Wolverine is a character who goes to many places through the comics.
You'll see the Canadian wilderness. You'll see Japan.
There's a shot where Logan is sliding down that rooftop, and you can
That
see
looks
the
cool.
breadth of Madripoor and Lowtown.
It's always nice teasing the depth and the amount of characters that we'll be seeing in the game. Omega Red makes an appearance, Mystique is there, and there are some hints to other characters that fans of Wolverine will recognize
Cyclops?
for sure.
Another visual element
Oh my
of
God.
Marvel's Wolverine is the blood. The blood tech that was put into this game is pretty phenomenal.
Blood tech.
There's a part in the trailer where Logan jumps down and then he does the claws up through the face. That one I thought maybe was going to be taking it too far, but I am so glad that we have it. It looks fantastic.
Wolverine's combat, making that special, making that feel like him, making it feel different to anything else you've played, that's a tough job. What's so cool for me is there was this one section of the game I got to try. It was just visceral and immediate and so incredibly satisfying, and I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
We're pretty excited about the artwork that we're using on the cover. It's dynamic, it's rough-edged.
You notice it doesn't look like our past games. It has a sense of urgency and forward movement and rage and fury, and that's Wolverine.
One of the cool things about Insomniac is they are probably the most collaborative group of people I have ever worked with. They make you feel part of their team. That's not something you always get.
We've been in a creative collaboration with Insomniac Games and PlayStation for over a decade now. We've made some of the greatest superhero games of all time.
Spider-Man games are fantastic.
That was always the goal, making games that are timeless.
I think fans are going to be excited, but I'm also really excited about it because I'm really proud of what we made. We're focused on making the best Wolverine game ever.
On behalf of everyone at Insomniac Games and the Wolverine team especially, we want to thank you for taking time to watch our trailer. We can't wait to show you more in spring of 2026.
More spring, huh? Snick, snick, bub. I'm assuming that's the end. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. But like Wolverine, like we were expecting it, but now actually getting to see it was super cool. Those speakers are kind of interesting. We're gonna start first, since this was the end, with Wolverine. Because I saw the Kratos controller and then I heard a deep voice and I'm like, is that Chris Judge? No. And then it kicks off and it's just like, oh, it's a PlayStation Studios game. Okay. And then it's freaking Wolverine. Yeah, I've been fighting longer than I can remember. For a second, I thought it was Kratos, but then I had to listen and I saw this and I'm like, that is not Kratos. And this is Wolverine. Super violent, bloody, which it's Wolverine, you know, you kind of have to. It's just weird when you neuter Wolverine and there's no blood and you're just stabbing somebody and it just looks kind of weird. And the way that they described it, and it's a word that got overused in games journalism, visceral. But it looks super visceral, dude. Like, hey, the suit looks super cool. Black and yellow looks great. He gets soaked in blood. Looks like there's a section where you're going to use a motorcycle. There's like context sensitive stuff. The combat really does look like a it looks like a mixture of Spider-Man and Batman Arkham games. You have the maneuverability of both of those characters. You've got cool traversal using the claws. You've got like the takedown moves, boss battles, obviously with Omega Red being there. Mystique's gonna be there. Visually, it looks really, really good. Like, I'm assuming this is all in-game stuff. So the characters are incredibly detailed. The lighting is really, really good too. But combat looks like it could be tons of fun. And you're going to have the big action set pieces. You got Mystique there. Who else is she going to turn into? Yeah. Dude, like the amount of stuff that's in this trailer. Let's just go back right quick. He kicks the dude into the magma. Look at that. That is a really cool version of the Wolverine suit. It looks so cool. But the combat, though, the combat looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And there's the Sentinel. A big boy Sentinel. So that's going to be a cool action set piece. Fall of 2026. That's not bad. That's a year away. Could be an October game. But what I really appreciate about Insomniac's takes on these games is that they do seem to really care about the writing, the story, the characters. They don't want to just have like cool gameplay and mechanics and combat. Obviously, you know that's going to be there. They've made some really great games in the past, but they've really been able to refine their combat stuff with the Spider-Man games, which I believe was probably influenced by the Batman Arkham games. Those games are just super fun, what you can do as Batman. But to kind of take what they learned from Spider-Man and maybe kind of change it to fit a Wolverine character who is just super brutal, visceral. Again, he's stabbing people, he's tearing into them, he's lunging halfway across an alley to punch a guy and then stab him, and then he's jumping back to get the dude who's behind him. The gameplay, all great stuff. But what I'm actually most intrigued by is what the story is going to be, because Insomniac has a really, really great way of humanizing their characters and having stories that feel really impactful and emotional. The first Spider-Man game, for example, spoiler alert for those who didn't play it, but you know, towards the end of the game where Peter has to decide, does he save the city or does he save Aunt May? Great, beautiful acting and writing in that. Miles Morales had some great moments. Spider-Man 2, I think, was not a bad game at all. It's a great, fantastic game. It's just kind of hard to hit the notes that the first Spider-Man did, but I thought it was still really, really good. But like seeing how much love and care they're putting into adding more dynamics into Wolverine, who is a dynamic character from the comics. I think a lot of times people just think of him as the angry short king who, you know, will let loose and stab you, but he does have those, again, like those more tender moments where he can be softer, he can be gentler, and he's gone through a lot. And again, you know, the whole unreliable narrator thing, he's dealing with memory loss. Who is he? Where's he from? Which they've explored a little bit in the movies. But to know that they're probably going to pull from a lot of the comics to inspire this version of Wolverine, super cool. Look how cool he looks, dude. He's just soaked in blood. Blood tech. The amount of blood in this game is going to be insane. Now, this is a trailer. I don't see a ton of gore, but granted, these are all quick cuts, and some of these people may be like cybernetically enhanced for all we know. But I expect it'll be mostly blood over gore, which is probably the right move. Because I don't see like anybody's intestines spilling out or anything like that. Omega Red's in there, dude. Like, look at this, sick. He just comes in and punches and blood comes flying out. And then he takes out the whips. That looks... Visually, this looks really good. This is a PS6 game. You know, because is this going to take place within the world of Spider-Man? Is this a shared universe? Is this its own thing? They said we could see other characters, so maybe Cyclops could be in there, Storm, Rogue, Professor X. We're going to be doing battles with Sentinels. This is super, super cool. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. They said more in spring of 2026. And I'm trying to think what's in spring of 2026 other than another like PlayStation State of Play or a showcase of sorts, which they've seemed to have abandoned the showcases. This looks gnarly. The cover art, very simple, very much in the vein of the Spider-Man games. Spider-Man had the red background. He was like posing and stuff. Wolverine's not really all that different, but it's really cool artwork. Coming to PS5. Yeah, this is a visually insane looking game. And Insomniac games look really good. The Spider-Man games look insane, but this looks super fun. I'm very intrigued, especially to see like how they're going to evolve the combat. But the story stuff I think is what kind of like, you know, kind of pulls me in the most. But it's like if you took Spider-Man, Batman Arkham, with a touch of Uncharted. And I think you would probably have this Wolverine game. He just kicked that guy into liquid hot magma. He looks so cool. He's got a lens flare on his claws. What kind of guy are you? It's so cool. This looks sick, dude. I'm so excited for Wolverine. This looks cool. 4 years in the making, 4 years of radio silence, and I think it's going to be really worth it. Now, the other thing I wanted to jump back to, Halloween, the game. this was announced about a month ago, I believe, during, I think they just dropped it. I can't remember. I've been keeping up with this. I've been watching all the videos. Slash and Cast, shout out to Slash and Cast. They've been covering this game very consistently, but I've kept my eye on this game, and I'm cautiously optimistic. And I say that because I'm somebody who played the crap out of Friday the 13th, the game. And if you don't believe me, you can go to my channel, type in Friday the 13th, the game, and you will probably see hundreds of videos that I uploaded many, many years ago playing through this game as a survivor and as Jason. I don't want to brag, I was pretty good. But I had such a love-hate relationship with that game because it was so janky and buggy, and it felt like 7 out of 10 times the game just did not work, or it had so many issues, which, you know, really frustrating. September 8th, that's what I wanted to look at, the release date. It's coming September 8th. That's a really good release date, just in time for spooky season of 2026. But the reason why I did want to talk about this is because I am excited. Now, it is being developed by IllFonic, who were the people that developed Friday the 13th. And since Friday the 13th, IllFonic has grown quite a bit as a development studio. They've gotten much better at developing their games. They've expanded their team. I think they have multiple offices throughout the US, and they've learned a lot. They also support their games. Predator Hunting Grounds, which they made, still gets support to this day. They made a Ghostbusters game, still gets support to this day. The thing that gives me pause is Gun Media or Gun Interactive. I don't recall which one they go by now, but they're not great. The one thing I do give Gun credit for is for Friday the 13th, they were super heavily involved with like the details of having every single Jason from every movie, having the maps resemble the locations from the films. Like, they put a lot of love and care in that, you know, aspect. But they really mishandle games. Friday the 13th, obviously there was the lawsuit which shut the game down, but I also feel like leading up to that point, Gun Media was incredibly just irresponsible with how they handled the game. I think they really dropped the ball on that. And part of me kind of feels like, and this is just me, kind of feels like maybe they lucked out with the lawsuit, because shortly after that, I feel like they probably would have dropped the game anyway. You look at what happened with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which they also published. They just dropped support for that game. And looking at, Michael looks great there. Looking at IllFonic and Gun Media, IllFonic are developers who genuinely want criticism and they want to get better. He lost his legs, so they do take feedback. Gun Media, however, is very much like, screw you, we didn't do anything wrong, go F yourself. So they're not lovely. But Gun Media is only co-publishing, and from my understanding, they got involved in this project very, very late in its life cycle. So this is very much, that is so cool. He's just standing right around the corner waiting for you. This is very much IllFonic's game. They're the ones running it. They're the ones who are going to be supporting it. Gun Media is essentially they're helping with, you know, probably finances and marketing and all that stuff. So I'm cautiously optimistic on this game because, again, I loved Friday the 13th when it worked. When it didn't work, it was super frustrating. But this is super cool because it's going to have a single player as well. So if something does happen with multiplayer and that goes offline, there's always going to be the single player that you can run back to. And I think you're going to be playing as Michael in the single player. You're basically reliving the night of the first Halloween movie. And as of right now, that's all they have license for. First Halloween movie, the first iteration of Michael. But they did say in previous interviews that they're leaving the door open. So I assume if this game comes out and it does well and there's a lot of support behind it from the devs as well as people playing it, then maybe they'll be like, hey, let's expand. Let's take some maps from Halloween 2. Let's incorporate another version of Michael, maybe from Halloween 4. But if you do that, for the love of God, fix the mask because it looks so bad. He looks so cool here. And then you get to Halloween 4 and he's just like, what's up, guys? You want to go kill someone? It looks so bad. But this is interesting. They're actually showcasing a lot more of Michael's abilities, which are kind of Jason-like. So he can shift around the map. He loses his legs for some reason. But that's so cool. That's the highlight of the trailer for me. Bam! Just step right around the corner and he's just waiting for you. Part of me wonders though. So he winds up with the knife. I'm wondering if, as Michael, you're not just going to be able to stab somebody or swing. I'm wondering if there's going to be like a charge, if you have to hold the button down and then you rear back and then let go. And maybe based on how long you've held the button down, you do more damage. I don't know. But you can play as Michael in here and the asymmetrical type stuff. You can play as a survivor to help other NPCs escape. I believe you can also convince NPCs of Michael's existence and what's going on. So it's somewhat like Friday the 13th, where you're trying to, avoid Michael, you're trying to escape, but you're also now helping NPCs. I believe there's going to be like phone boxes. You can probably call the cops. The cops then get in there and kind of interfere with Michael's whole thing. So I don't think it's as straightforward as Friday the 13th was. I think there's going to be more for Michael to do and more for the civilians to do. So I've been very cautiously optimistic, but learning more about the game and how it's IllFonic's baby and gun media is not heavily involved, I'm a little bit more, optimistic about what they're doing. So, and again, if you play Friday the 13th, this is probably going to be somewhat similar because it's the same people. So this is pretty cool. Playing a civilian, it's up to you to lead the townsfolk to safety, find a phone, and call the police for help. Yeah, you can also fight back against Michael. As far as I know, you cannot kill him, which is good. And I hope, again, you cannot bully Michael. There should be some mechanics to protect Michael, so he doesn't just get beat down. And it ends up like Friday the 13th, where you can, basically bully the crap out of Jason. And he's not as scary. But this looks cool. Playing as Michael, just stalking Haddonfield, messing with NPCs. I hope you can hide bodies. That would be so cool if there's like a fear mechanic. And if you like murder an NPC and then you like hang them up on a doorway, so when somebody opens the door, it freaks them out. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, again, they've described it as a horror sandbox. So it's not just going to be like a straightforward Friday the 13th thing, I think. But it looks pretty fun. It kind of has that IllFonic jank to it in terms of its look, although Michael looks great. The mask looks great. The lighting looks pretty solid. The jumping ability to, shape, what did they call it? Shape jump. So he's going to be able to float around unseen, which explains how Michael can be a little supernatural in some of these movies. But that, again, that's the highlight of this for me. Bam! You're just walking around the corner with the flashlight and he's just waiting there for you and just stabbed. Goner. Civilians. Yeah. So it's going to be meatier than Friday the 13th. So again, I'm still cautiously optimistic, but I'm now leaning more towards optimistic with Halloween, the game. Coming out September 8th. Great release date, just in time for spooky season. So I think this could be a lot of fun. So the last thing I'd like to talk about is Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. I did expect this to be here as like a final marketing push since the game comes out the 30th, next week. When is the 30th? I don't remember, but it's coming out very soon. And as of today, which is a Tuesday, or it's a Wednesday, the 24th, all of the reviews have been starting to come out for the game, and it is doing exceptionally well. A lot of people are calling it the best version of Tactics, one of the best Final Fantasies. All of the enhancements that they've made are all the right ones. It's easy to pick up and play. People are just loving on it. It's literally like 9s across the board. I saw like 2 10s. I saw like 3 8s and 1 7. But this is seemingly doing really well. And this is, again, if you've watched my previous videos on Tactics, I didn't play the OG Tactics as a kid. The one that I played was Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance, SP. And from my understanding, those are very different games. So this is going to be my first time experiencing the story of Tactics, which from what I hear from a lot of people is like one of the best stories in Final Fantasy. And, based on what I do know about the story, it does kind of unfortunately still reflect the climate, that we're dealing with, not just in the world, but like in the US in particular. But, it's going to be very topical, very poignant. But I'm really excited to dive into this game and experience the proper combat, hear the new script, the voice acting, and just kind of experience that story for the first time that so many people have praised over the years. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So with that being said, that is the video. Obviously no Final Fantasy Remake Part 3. We're just holding out hope at some point to get some sort of teaser. So maybe the Game Awards, something could be there. We're just looking for a title. Looking for a title, maybe a release window. But let me know what you guys thought of the state of play. Again, it wasn't insane, but there was at least 2 things for me that stood out, and that was Halloween and Wolverine the game. So I think for a lot of people, Wolverine, it's showing here, will probably be enough because it looks insane. It looks super sick. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the state of play. If you want, you can go on my channel and search up Friday the 13th and watch some of my older gameplay videos. Again, I was a pretty good Jason. I was a pretty good survivor. I don't want to brag, but I was pretty good. But I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.